Hello, Kranti ma'am. Hello, Kranti madam. Are you there? रवि सर आवाज नहीं आ रहा है. Kranti, are you there? Hello, Kranti.
These are very basic things. But when you do not display these qualities, somewhere you are standing behind others, those who have these qualities. And then you realize that I need some professional training, I need some professional coaching, and you join some professional institution, spend a lot of money, and somehow you make up these shortcomings, these lacunas. So what we thought is, at National College, we will start a course where we will try to inculcate professional skills in our students without any extra effort, without any extra expenditure, without spending any extra time out of college time, so that with proud you can stand anywhere, with pride you can face any competition, any situation. If you are suppose getting an opportunity for a public speech, you should not hesitate. And that will happen only when you have practiced it here. So our aim is, as a department of foundation course, to instill this basic foundational skills. And therefore we have started this add-on course as a part of your internal curriculum. Because again, we do not wish to increase your work burden. Therefore, we have incorporated it as a part of your internal curriculum. Here you will be given 6 sessions, and in all 6 sessions, the basic skills, basic rules, basic informations related to 6 different areas, beginning with today's professional communications, will be shared with you, will be discussed with you. And on the basis of the lecture, you will be given an assignment. So this assignment has to be completed within a week time. Suppose today you are given the assignment, or tomorrow, then before 7th or 8th, you will have to submit the assignment. You will submit the assignment to your subject teacher. Subject teacher can give it to me. If I'm teaching you, you can directly give it to me in my office, and I will forward it to concerning teacher. They will assess, evaluate it, and award you the marks. On the basis of that, you will be allowed to join the next session. So every week you will have a session, and every week you will have to complete your assignment. If you fail to submit your assignment of previous session, you will be discontinued for next session. Hence, it is going to affect your course as well as your marks. On successful completion of course, each and every student will be given a separate certificate as well for completion of add-on course in professional skills, which will be very helpful to you in your job interviews, in your job applications. It will definitely strengthen your CV. But moreover, what I'm focusing is, our focus would be to strengthen your personality, so that you wouldn't depend on a piece of paper for your recognition, for your acceptance. We wish that wherever you go, wherever you speak, you should create a space for yourself. With that objective, we have planned this course. I'm thankful to our principal madam, who have encouraged us to go for such a course. We should also be thankful to Professor Dinesh Singhani sir, who is constantly supporting us, guiding us, and trying to plan the activities for us. And I'm also thankful to guest speakers, our own teachers, who have found out extra time for you. So today's speaker, we have Professor Kranti Doibole. So let me formally introduce Professor Kranti Doibole. So she's not just a person. She's a powerhouse of talent and experience, which you might have seen or you will see during college programs, events, during her class teachings, during interaction with you. And she's somebody who dabbles in variety of things and never had a dearth of professional avenues to pursue. She's a gymnast with 15 medals to her credit at state, national, and national level. And she has represented India in gymnastics world championship at Bangkok. So she is not just an academician, she's an international gymnast. That's why my aim is to bring true leaders, the academicians who have been leaders, who have faced things from the front, who have a never surrender, never die like spirit. So she is the right person. Again, she's a trained classical singer with Visharad. She has a qualification in professional music as well. So, and she had performed several times live for All India Radio. She was an NCC cadet. She was also an avid trekker and has also been a part of expeditions to the peak of Doibole Danda in Himalayas. And apart from this, she has translated books, written many research papers. She has translated a book making a bad joke in Hindi. And these are interesting things about her. Even I'm getting to know through it. Because so far we were knowing that she is a professor of English. But moreover, she is beyond a teacher. She is a gold medalist at her BA course. And she persuaded her Master of Literature with honors from University of Mumbai, securing first rank in the university as well. And after her master, she studied film and cultural studies at the esteemed Magdeburg University in Germany, with a second master degree in linguistics and MPhil to her credit. Now she is pursuing her PhD. Soon she will be finishing her PhD. Presently, she is working as an assistant professor with Department of English at RD National College. So we have such a wonderful guest who is experienced, knowledgeable, and proved herself, not in one area, but in several areas, and most of them contradictory to each other. Music, trekking, sports, academics, securing gold medal here in BA level and securing gold medal in sports activities. So she is the right person to mentor you, to give her tips, to share her ideas about professional communication, and not just professional communication, but how you can, your power of knowledge, power of communication can make you a true leader. So I welcome Professor Kranti Doibole for today's session. She has brought a PPT for you. She will be making audio-visual presentation as well. Over to you, Kranti ma'am.
Thank you so much.
एक साथ हो सकती है.
Okay, very, very good afternoon, everybody. First and foremost, thank you so much for this opportunity. I get to try new ways, so that's always a nice. People who have joined online, am I audible to you? Online. Of course, I'm audible to you.
I'll check. I'll go outside and check.
Let us begin.
Dear student, please switch off your mic during session. Dear student, please switch off your mic during session. Thank you so much. Akhilesh Yadav, please switch off your mic. Ravi sir, can I make you host? Ravi sir? Ravi sir, you are host.
This is professional communication. अटक गया. अच्छा, एक मिनट. आता जाए. Okay, people online, am I audible now? You do understand the difference between online and offline, right? Come on. Very nice. Welcome to National College. I believe you are in second year. This is high time you understand. Even better. How did you come today? Sir, आप अभी एक बार check करें.
बसून बोलले तर समोर
कसं आहे? मला बसून Okay.
Silence. Yes.
All right, you know what? People at the back, I would like you all to come and sit here. The last row, please come and join us here. it out.
ये निकालो काम में से भाई में रखो मैं बाहर जाओ I will see you in the class.
All right, shall we start? Can we start?
Yeah, ma'am. Sorry for disturbing.
No, not at all. I'm very happy to see these faces right up in the front.
No, please try to if they can.
All right, people online, hello again. Am I audible now?
आप चुपचाप बैठोगे
All right, thank you so much. No, I think if they're not interested, so they can just leave, right? Why? Like, because I see there's a group of people here who are really interested and they were trying to pay attention.
Attendance हो गई, please leave, नहीं जाओ नहीं चाहिए आप लोगों को तो इसके बाद मुझे एक भी बात बीच में रोक के डिस्टर्ब ना करना पड़े टीचर को इतनी बदतमीज वैसे आज तक मैंने नहीं देखी I will summon your parents. You will see next week. Your parents will be here. और कल ट्यूटर मीटिंग है कल ही मैं आप लोगों के ट्यूटर को टारगेट करके रोल नंबर देता हूं कोई भी इंटरनल में पास नहीं होने वाला है मैं ही पढ़ाने भी वाला हूं ऐसा नहीं कि पहचानने मुझे मुश्किल होगी कोई भी पास होकर दिखाना मुझे सबके सब मेरी नजर में आए हो सारी मस्ती एक दिन उतर जाएगी तमाशा चल रहा है यहाँ पर कॉमेडी शो में आए हो यही पेरेंट्स ने सिखाया है किसी प्रोफेशनल जगह पर बैठो कैसे एटिकेट होना चाहिए कैसे मैनर्स होना चाहिए इतनी बदतमीजी कहां से सीखी है 12वीं कैसे पास हुए बेसिक बिहेवियर पेरेंट्स ने नहीं सिखाया तुम लोगों को पब्लिक में कैसे खुद को कंडक्ट करते हैं क्या पेरेंट्स भी ऐसे ही हैं लेट मी मीट देम नेक्स्ट वीक FIBSC सबके पेरेंट्स नेक्स्ट वीक आ रहे हैं इसके लिए तुम लोगों को बाकायदा प्रिंसिपल सामने पेरेंट्स को मैं खड़ा करता हूं तुम्हारा अब शुरू करेंगे नहीं बोल दो जिसको जाना है अभी चले जाओ अब मुझे बीच में कोई डिस्टर्बेंस नहीं चाहिए बैठना बैठो प्लीज उठो और चुपचाप जाओ जाने के लिए आपको कोई पनिशमेंट नहीं है लेकिन यहां बैठ कर आप कुछ किए बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगी आपकी लाइफ कॉलेज में ये समझ लेना मैं शुरू करिए
Shall I? Okay, awesome. All right, so we were talking about professional communication and how it is so different from the communication that we've had so far, right? Like the kind of communication that we have with our parents, our friends, our siblings, our girlfriends, boyfriends is not the one that you can have in the professional arena. All right. Now, when it comes to communication, we basically do it, professional communication, we do it in 3 ways. All right. Number 1 is written. Number 2 is spoken. And the third one is through your body language. All right. So we are in the next 45 minutes, I'm briefly going to give you, some pointers about each and every aspect of these 3 types, which you can apply in your day-to-day life. Maybe you'll find it helpful. Are you ready? Yes. I didn't hear that. All right. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Great. Thank you. Now, the first one, let's start with written communication. All right. When it comes to the professional arena, सबसे ज़्यादा communication होता है written format में. All right. Because when it comes to business, when it comes to this professional arena, anything and everything needs to carry proof. Right? कि ये conversation हुआ था, इसका proof रहना बहुत जरूरी है. So most of it happens through letters and through emails. Okay. And believe me, in the next 10-15 years of your life, if you are going to be in this professional arena, the number of letters and emails you will write is uncountable. All right. I think you've already started to realize that, like, even when you come to college, if you want to, you miss the day that they were distributing ID cards, you have to write an application. You want to file a complaint, you have to write a letter. If you, let's say, are applying for a job, you have to write an application letter. If you want to accept a job that has been given to you, Again, you have to write a thank you letter or an acceptance letter. If you want to resign from a job, again, a letter, right? Chutti chahiye, letter. Anything and everything that you do now onwards needs to be in this written format. It has to be through letters. And emails are nothing but electronic letters. All right. So the format is a little bit different, but the idea remains the same. Now, I'm not going to go into details of how to write a letter and everything because you already know it. Bachpan se you've been writing letters, right? I'm very sure even in your 12th standard, you had this one section where you had to write letters, right? So you already know this, right? The date comes first, then the sender's address, then the receiver's address, then this is a formal letter, so you have to write the subject, and followed by respected sir, respected ma'am, then opening it up and then thanking you in anticipation. Yours sincerely, close, right? You know this format, correct? So what I'm going to do is there are some etiquettes that have to be followed. There are some rules. Okay, professional communication has its own set of rules. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some etiquettes that you have to follow when you're writing a formal letter. Okay. So the first one, your letter has to be short and to the point. All right, this is a formal letter, right? It's not a love letter that can go on and on and on for like 5-6 pages, right? किसी को time नहीं है इतना पढ़ने के लिए. So this letter has to be very short, preferably not more than 2 paragraphs. पहले paragraph में who are you? तुम्हारा काम क्या है? Second paragraph is थोड़ा सा मस्का लगाओ. All right, basically you want to get your work done. So मस्का and thank you. That's it. That's how short a formal letter should be. Very easy, right? लंबा letter लिखने में बहुत मेहनत लगती है. यहाँ पे you have to be to the point. Second one, this is the one I really want to focus on. We are used to writing a letter that says respected sir or respected ma'am. Now, respected is completely outdated. Okay, we don't use respected anymore. We use dear. All right, it could be anyone. You could be writing to the chief minister or the prime minister or the head of an institution. Everybody is dear. All right. Respect is something that somebody has to earn. It is not something that you give away like that. All right. So respected, never use this term anymore. I know hum school say respectedly use kare. That was one way we used to distinguish informal and formal letters, right? Yeah. Dear hai to informal hai. Respected hai to formal hai. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen anymore. Everybody is dear to us. All right. So please remember, this is a very recent development. Like this has started to come into mainstream in the last couple of years, especially during the lockdown when everything went online. All right. Then the third one is you avoid the use of acronyms and short forms of words. We live in a world where our lives are ruled by WhatsApp and social media, right? So we love using short forms of words. Can you give me a few? HMM means what? TTYL, yes. TTW means? Okay. TYL means? Talk to you later. Or TTW by the way, or?
TYSM.
Correct, yes. TYSM. Very true.
WTW.
Yes. My God, so many acronyms.
BTW.
WBU means what? Okay, what about you? Alright. The point is, this is absolutely fine when it comes to Abbas. This is absolutely fine when it comes to informal communication. Like you do this in your DMs or your WhatsApp or your Telegram, it's fine. But when it comes to writing a letter, you can't do like talk to you later, like TTYL. You can't do that. Like imagine you're writing this letter to somebody who's going to give you a job. TTYL, वो रहेगा बुड्ढा आदमी, उसको समझ नहीं आएगा. He'll get a complex, he'll not give you a job. Alright? That's not the point. The point is, it's informal. Like जितना भी हमारा मन करे, जितना भी हमारे में का वो आलसी आदमी जग रहा हो, you can't use such acronyms or short forms. Or short forms, even at times, the word about is used ABT, right? Or we use so many other short forms. What else do we do? Okay is like just K. Right? Okay, the original spelling is OKAY. उससे O and K हुआ. अभी हम इतने आलसी हैं कि उसका सिर्फ K कर दिया. Right? So, right? So we unfortunately or maybe fortunately, this is not the kind of language we can use in formal communication. All right. So even remember this, if you're writing a message to your professor, if you're writing a WhatsApp message even to your professor, you cannot use these short forms. Am I making sense? Are you with me? All right, lovely. Next one is, okay, again, this is something that we've always used, right? We end the letters with thanking you. Okay, so this is incorrect. It either has to be just thank you or it should be thanking you in anticipation. Anticipation matlab, I am sure tum mera kaam kar doge, so I am thanking you in advance. All right. So either say thank you or you say thanking you in anticipation or you say thanking you in advance. I'm going to share the PowerPoint with Ravi sir so he can share it with you. So just pay attention to what I'm saying. Okay. So thanking you kabhi nahi use karna, especially when you apply in corporates, you use thanking you. They know tum kitne pani mein ho. All right, because this is your first impression. Okay, so use the correct words here. Next, yours sincerely, yours respectfully, faithfully. These are the kind of sign-offs that we use. I would like to draw your attention to the word yours. Yours S likhte hai. All right. It is not by OUR, then who apostrophe and S. No, that's incorrect. There's no apostrophe even after S. Yours has to be like this. All right. I mean, no other way. And then you can use sincerely, respectfully, faithfully, any of this. Or you think his spellings बहुत ज़्यादा difficult है, simply write sincerely. All right. Or warm regards. As easy as that. It's better to give your regards rather than using incorrect spelling. All right. Can I go ahead? I am going to be very polite and courteous. All right. These are formal letters. Remember, you're writing this either to get a job or to get a client or to a bank to get, a loan, or maybe to your professors who holds your marks in his hands, right? His or her hands. So be as polite, as courteous as you can be. Bhale, you might hate that person in your personal life, like you hate that person's guts, really, really do. Not reflect in your answer, in your letters. All right, be very courteous. Next, since we live in an age that has the electronic medium, if you are planning to write a letter, it should preferably be a typed letter. All right, rather than giving it handwritten, because you know how beautiful your handwritings are, right? Like encrypted messages they are. Okay, so it's always more professional, better if you have a typed letter. I think you can nowadays just type a letter even on your phone and then get a print, right? So it's as easy as that. So preferably a typed letter. But if you are, giving in a handwritten letter, then please focus on your handwriting. All right, that letter should not be, as I said earlier, an encrypted message. People should be able to read it. Okay. So next, by the way, this is also something you should focus on. If it is a handwritten letter, तुम्हारे notebook का पेज ऐसे tear करके उस पे letter लिख दिया with all the frayed edges doesn't look nice. Okay, it gives in a very unprofessional perception. Always go for an A4 size clean page. Okay, okay. Next, oh yeah, your email IDs. I have come across students whose email IDs are so creative and so amazing. Like there was this one that I really love, shimmer at 1234. And then, shimmer underscore 1234 at some.com. Like, do you know any crazy, if there are Game of Thrones fans, I know they have their email IDs that are based on there, right? Do you know any crazy email IDs? This was the one that I found, shimmer.
Crazy punk.
Yes, crazypunk at whatever.com. What else? KFC, really? maybe KFC as well. किसी को बहुत पसंद है KFC. Me too. Okay. So the point is, in your personal life, like because you wanted, an email ID for your Netflix account or your Amazon account or for online shopping, ये ऐसे email IDs चल जाएंगे. But when you're applying for a job or you are starting a business, you can't have an email ID that says crazy punk, right? Or you can't have an email ID that says shimmer underscore 1234. That's fine, but that's so horrible, because if somebody is writing me an email asking for a deal and the email ID is crazy punk, मैं नहीं करने वाली हूँ उनके साथ. I am doing no profession with them. Okay, so please, if you don't have an email ID that is professional, start. Okay, ideally your email ID should have your name. All right, name followed by surname. What you can do is have a separate email ID that you only use for professional purposes. Okay. Yes. Keep your letters very, very clean. When I say clean, I don't mean chai, spaghetti ho ya whatever. I mean the language should be very clean. All right. We have a tendency of using very colorful words, right? Especially when we are WhatsApping and DMing. ऐसी गालियां हम दे देते हैं. Like इतनी देते हैं, especially the F word, right? So we are so used to using these words that invariably it also might reflect in your professional messages or your letters. Please be very careful. That never happens. All right. Okay, I am in no position to tell you कि ये words use ही मत करो, नहीं करो तो बहुत अच्छा है. But I know you're going to go ahead. But at least don't let it turn up in your professional life, okay, or your college life when you're writing to your professor. And proofread. We think that हमारे सारे spelling सही है, everything is perfect, absolutely impeccable. But we are humans and we make mistakes. When we are writing, we are focusing on the content. So the second time you read your letter, focus on the spellings, focus on the usage, all of it. Okay. Any message, any document, any letter, any email you send, it should always be proofread. Because one grammatical mistake, one spelling mistake can cost you your job. Okay, because जब सामने वाला वो लेटर पढ़ता है उसको लगता है if this person didn't even take time to correct the spelling, क्यों ही दूं मैं इसको job, right? So focus on this. The last one being very, very important: use clean language and proofread whatever you have written. Are we good? Yes. Awesome. Let's go ahead. Now, since we are talking about letters, another important factor when it comes to written communication, and this is very, very crucial at your stage, is writing your CVs and resumes. By the way, do you think there's a difference? I know you've come across these words before, like CV and resumes, but do you think there's a difference between the two, or are they like one and the same? Acha, one and the same? Nahin? Acha, same. Okay, I think same. Okay, quite a few of you. Wow, kya baat. Yeah, absolutely. CV is an acronym short for curriculum vitae. There's one minor difference between the two, which is not so minor actually. Curriculum vitae is your detailed biodata. All right. तुमने बचपन से अब तक क्या-क्या किया है. All right. It is everything that you've done basically in your academics and work experience and extracurriculars and all of it. That becomes your curriculum vitae or CV. Resume has to be just one page. All right, it is a one-page summary of your academic pursuits and your work experience and your pros and your cons and everything. CV can be 15 pages long. All right, it could. I have seen CVs that like go on to 50-55 pages. Okay, so but your resume has to be one page only. Okay, so this is, by the way, your assignment. You have to create your curriculum vitae. All right, by the end of this week, I think you have end of this week, right, sir? And you have to submit that. Now, curriculum vitae and CVs are very important because they are your first impression. Whenever you apply for a job, the first thing you do is you're writing an application, or application ke saath you are attaching your CV. All right. So whoever is going to later on interview you is first going to go through your CV. So your CV is going to create some kind of impression on that person. All right. So your CV is your first impression, very first impression. Therefore, it has to be very, very good. It has to be something that is very professional. Right. Now, we are going to talk about how to write a CV and a resume. But before that, please ensure that you revise your resume and your CV for every application. Like, let's say number one, you are applying for the post of a scientist. तो उसमें तुम जो details डालोगे वो अलग रहेंगे as compared to if you are applying for the post of a teacher, right? Because if you are applying for the post of a teacher, you will be focusing on how your public skills are, how your interaction is, are you a good orator, blah blah blah. Do you have any kind of experience in academics and basically in teaching and everything? If you're applying for the post of a scientist, it's okay if you're not a good orator, right? What do you need? Research, right? You have to have strong research skills. What did you say? You need a brain for everything. Whether it's working or not is a different story. Come on, somebody here said something. Concentration. Okay, I think teaching also needs a lot of concentration. Take it from someone who is one. But I completely agree. You need that research mindset, right? Yeah. Observing power. Very good. Yes, go ahead. Absolutely. I'm not disagreeing. You're absolutely correct. You do need concentration and everything, but you need those research skills. You need analytical skills and all of these if you want to be a scientist. So understand what the job is, and according to it, you revise, you twist your CV, you twist your resume. Next is okay, use templates as inspiration, but make your own edits. We live in an amazing world where things are pretty easy. Okay, all you have to do is go online, and there are available templates for CVs and resumes. All right, all you have to do is go there and just put in your details and download it. It's as easy as that. But the point is, they are very exactly, they're quite common. Everybody uses them. So what you can do is take it as a basis. Uska skeleton करके use करो. Use the structure, but bring in your own details to it. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of resumes just for reference. Okay, this one is very, very important. Do not be shy to show off your achievements. We are brought up thinking, you have to be very humble. You have to be don't be egoistic and everything. When it comes to applying for jobs or higher education or scholarships, be very, very egoistic. All right. You probably have done so much in your life. Please put it all in your CV. It could be something as simple as a debate competition that you won in primary school, but it has to go in your CV. I used to be one of those people who never used to talk about my achievement. I'm like, कर लिया है, इसमें क्या बताना है? I had applied for this teaching job once, and just when I was being interviewed, they asked me like, okay, have you done any extracurriculars? Then I talked about my gymnastics and then that I'm a singer and everything. And then the person was, why haven't you put this in your CV? How are we supposed to know that you've done this? That is when I realized nowadays, yes, your academics are important. Yes, your marks are important, but they don't ensure, a good job. What ensures is your extracurriculars. Because 90% marks to आजकल सबको मिलते हैं, right? तुम्हें क्या extra है? What is it extra? That one step extra that you have done that we should, choose you rather than anybody else. Am I making sense to you? Yes, thank you. Okay, so please do not shy away from showing off your achievements. It could be something very, very simple. Maybe when you were a little kid, you've done it. Bring it in. Okay. The next one, again, please proofread everything that you have written. You cannot have spelling mistakes or grammatical mistakes in your CV or your resume. Next one, I would like you all to do it. It's already late if you haven't done this. You have to have a LinkedIn profile. You have an Insta profile, you have a Twitter profile, you have maybe WhatsApp and Facebook and everything. एक और पे assign कर लो, that is LinkedIn, because believe me, I've been on LinkedIn just for 3 years now, and the kind of job opportunities, research opportunities, and everything that come there, you will find nowhere. And nowadays, these major companies, or even like if you are applying for scholarships at higher education or whatever, they don't ask you for your CV. They say LinkedIn ka profile send. You just have to share your link to your profile on LinkedIn. So it's very, very, I can't stress this enough, but it's so important that you have a LinkedIn profile. Please do it. Okay. And last one, a very, very important one. In professional communication, you never, ever use WhatsApp, and you never do DMs. All right. All of the communication has to be either through emails or, the simple messaging that your phone provides, the one that works even without the internet. SMS, right? You know what it is, correct? Yeah. So all your communication has to be through either SMS, but preferably through emails. And emails whose email ID is not cyberpunk, right? So it has to be a professional email ID, and the communication has to be through this. Preferably, even when you communicate to your professors, it should be through message or through emails, because WhatsApp and DMs are very informal, all right? And they're okay to communicate with your friends and just your acquaintances, but never in the professional arena. This is a very strong distinction. Please do remember this. Okay? Am I making sense?
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes.
कितना ऐसे जा रहा है? जा रहा है ऐसे कि पूरा bouncer जा रहा है? सब जा रहा है. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead then. Okay, so now let's come to a CV. What should a CV generally have? Your CV should begin with obviously your name and your personal details. All right, by the way, when you're writing your name, it has to be first name, mother's name, father's name, and your surname. All right, this is again a new development, very recent. Your name has to be, you can't just write your first name like Kranti. You can't end there, right? It has to be Kranti, then my mother's name, father's name, and my surname. And then obviously your date of birth, nationality, mother's, father's name, contact details, and all of these personal details will come here. This you have to add because wherever you send your CV, how do they get back to you? If they are interested in your profile, how do they revert to you? How do they communicate back to you? इसके लिए ये personal details हम देते हैं. Next come your academic qualifications. All right, academic qualifications means your education. Now, when you're writing about your education, never start with KG and then senior KG. And nobody cares how much you scored in your KG and your senior KG or your first standard. The recent one should be first. What will be your most recent degree? HSC, very good. The last degree that you completed was your higher secondary schooling certificate, whatever, right? HSC, no? Recent one, the most recent one. All right. HSC, you should start with basically if you are in second year of BSc, you'll be second year BSc pursuing. All right. Then comes your HSC, then your SSC, and it ends there. All right. उसके पहले का किसी को लेना देना नहीं है. Okay. So your 10th SSC becomes your basic one. So also, by the way, if you have won any academic awards or if you were anywhere in the merit list or any of these, if you had received any scholarships while you were taking your school or high school or even college education, please do mention it. Okay, it carries a lot of weightage that you had a scholarship or that you were a merit student and everything. Please do ensure that you add all of it to your academic qualification. Next, work experience. If you have any work experience, it needs to be put here. All right. Let's say you have no work experience, then what do? You will not add this section at all. All right. वहाँ पे work experience लिख के नीचे nil नहीं लिखना है या dash नहीं डालना because it gives a very negative perception. All right. है ही नहीं तो पूरा section ही उड़ा दो. But yeah. Any kind of voluntary work, if you have done, that should also be included. Like for example, if you work with an NGO, add it there. If you have been, a part of the NSS, worked as a volunteer, that should come under here. If you're already working somewhere as an intern or wherever, this should also be something that should be mentioned here. Anything and everything that you have done as a part of work for which you were paid or for which you've received a certificate should be put here. All right, next is professional development. Like the course that you are doing right now, this course is a part of professional development. All right, so you guys are very lucky. If you successfully complete this course, you can add that in your professional development. All right, if you have done those computer course, what was it? MSc IT, thank you. Right, those MSc IT courses, all of it would go under there. Anything that helps you to prepare yourself for the professional arena, for the professional scenario would go into professional development. Next, very important are your extracurriculars. Your extracurriculars is what gives you that one extra point that gets you a job, gets you a scholarship, gets you a seat. All right. Nowadays, they have a separate section in the markings. When you go into the job arena and everything, they literally have a separate section where they mark you on your extracurriculars. So if you are an NSS candidate, if you have done your NCC or anything, if you've participated in the youth fest, if you've been a part of the college festivals, which fest do you guys have? All right, we have so many of those. Like which fest does the science hold? Science faculty? Yeah, physics. And I think you all have your own fests, right? If you have been a part of the organizing committee of these fests, you can put it in your extracurriculars. Okay, all of it comes here. And believe me, I honestly can't stress it enough. It's very, very crucial that you build your extracurriculars. All right, क्योंकि पढ़ाई तो सब करते हैं, marks को आजकल सबको मिलते हैं. What matters more is your life experience. You know, street smartness that comes from here. If you're organized a fest, you know the kind of street smartness you learn, right? So now I think is the right time for you. You have 2 to 3 years more to build up your extracurricular, to build up your CV. Start working on it. Okay. Next one, references. Whenever you apply, when you write a CV, you have to give 2 references of people who know you. All right. That does not mean कि तुम्हारा भाई और तुम्हारा best friend. Right? They can't be your references. References have to be people who know you in the formal scenario, in the professional scenario. Who could they be? कौन हो सकता है?
Professor.
Okay, your doctor?
Professor.
Professors, like yes, absolutely, a professor. But give the reference of a professor जिनके आप good books में हो. Don't go to a professor who hates you. मिलने वाला job भी नहीं मिलेगा. No, come on, Ravi sir is amazing. He's really, really amazing. Okay, so be very careful. Believe me, I've been his colleague for almost 5 years now. He is, and I'm not exaggerating, he's one of the best professors this college has to offer. Like it's up to you, आप उनसे कितनी help ले सकते हो and how much you use him for your development. Like all you have to do is open enough to go up to him, ask for help, and he'll always be there for you. This comes from personal experience, all right? So he would actually be one of your best references, to tell you the truth. So be in his good books. Number 2, it could be professors. It could be, let's say you've done an internship. So maybe that internship, the one you worked under, that person can become your references. All right, so references has to be people who know you, because when you apply for scholarships, higher education opportunities, and jobs and everything, they ask you these references so that they can do a background check. All right, they call up these people, they actually write to them asking about you. So the references, that's why I say, jiske bhi references aap doge, you have to be in their good books. Another thing, whenever you give anybody's number or their contact details as reference, inform them. All right, so that they are prepared कि हाँ मुझे call आने वाला है, या okay, I might receive an email asking for information. Out of the blue, especially as a teacher, if you give my reference, I teach hundreds of students everywhere. Randomly, I get a call, okay, ये इसका reference दे सकते हैं. I'm like, I don't even know this person, right? So that might not work in your favor. So be very, very careful. Contact the person in advance and tell them, may I give your reference? Are we good so far? Okay. This is what I was talking about. This is on Google Docs. When you go to Google Docs, all you have to do is go to the template gallery, all right? And there are these different formats of resumes that you can use. That's what I said, nowadays ready-made formats and templates are available. You don't really have to start from the scratch like we had to do it. It's very easy. You can just click on one of those. I think I have one. Yeah, you can just click on one of those and fill in your details. But for example, let's say that you haven't worked at 3 companies, right? So you only worked at 1. So बाकी के 2 हटा दो वहाँ से. Don't put like nil or nil there. Okay? Or maybe they don't have a section for something that you have done, then add it to it. All right? So use the template as your basic structure, but you make the changes. You edit it to fit your needs. You can use this. Or are you aware of something called Canva? Do you use Canva? You do, right? Yeah. If you're an artist, if you're into creative arts, you cannot survive without Canva these days, all right? If you are used to Canva, then it's amazing the kind of templates that it provides for resumes and CVs. So maybe it's a good idea to acquaint yourself with canva.com. All right? They have all of these, all right? They're like different styles. Do you want a professional one for a graphic designer? Is it a college CV or a corporate CV? You choose. Like there's also one for acting, all right? So it provides you a template for different types of careers or different types of arenas that you wish to pursue. So maybe right now, if you're using Canva, for you, the one style would be useful would be the college one, all right? Okay, that is the end of our written communication. I come to the next one, that is spoken communication, all right? Now this one is a shorter section. when it comes to spoken communication, one of the important things that you will do now is face interviews. All right? इसमें सबकी फटती है. If it's your first interview, then बहुत ज़्यादा फटती है. And I don't even mean interviews that are for job, right? Even maybe for a particular subject, you'll have a viva, which is also a type of interview. But maybe you'll already start working, or if you're applying for internships, you already have to start facing interviews. So let's start with that. How do you prepare for an interview? Of course, you know the major things that you have to do. I just have a few pointers that you should never ever forget when you are preparing for an interview. The first is, let's say you are applying to a particular company. उनके बारे में पढ़ के जाओ. All right, like they will ask you, do you know, this is what we do and ऐसा ऐसा problem है, how will you deal with it? हमें अभी अगर company के बारे में कुछ पता ही नहीं है, तो we'll not be able to figure out the problem. Neither will we be able to give them a solution to it, right? So read up on the company. Like when I had applied at Nationals for the job, one of the questions they asked me was, what is the full name of this college? Right? Luckily, I read up. You know, a college has a very long name, right? Rishi Dayaram and everything. Right? Now I forgot. But the point is, imagine it would have given such a negative, perception if I were not able to tell the full name of the college, right? So do this. Read up on any company or any agency that you're going to apply. जितना भी उनके बारे में आप पढ़ के जा सकते हो, पढ़ के जाओ. All right. Also, research a little bit into the field. Like your field, probably you are into basic sciences, correct? So if you are applying for the post of a scientist, please do read up what are the recent developments and everything in your particular field or that particular position that you are applying to. This is very, very important. Next one. Please reread your own CV before you go to face the interview. हमने CV बनाया होता है कभी 3-4 साल पहले, right? And we send it to the सामने वाला, the agency. And then they ask you, oh, in your CV you have written that you play cricket. And you're like, huh? Is it? Have I written that? Yeah, that can't happen, right? You have to know what you have written in your CV. Otherwise, God, you're not getting that job. Right? So please do reread your CV before you go up to an interview, to face your interview. I think this is very straightforward. Carry multiple copies of your CV and other relevant documents. Okay, this is, you do send all of this in advance, but it's always a good idea to carry them with you. Then obviously prepare these commonly asked questions. ये तो 100% कोई भी interview हो ये पूछते ही है. Like, why should we select you? What is so different about you? And why have you applied for this job? And then you can't give any cheesy wala answer. Like, why have you applied for this job? Because मैं देश बदलना चाहती हूँ. Right? You can't give such cheesy answers. It has to be very practical. It has to be very, very rational. Like सामने वाले को they should be able to, realize that yes, what you are saying is pretty rational. Like for example, if they ask me why this particular job, then you go back to your work experience. You go back to your extracurriculars and you bring it up from there. Like for example, I can say that, when I was in college, I have worked with an NGO that, taught students in the tribal area. And that is where I realized that I have a knack for teaching, or I like to teach. And that's how I learned that this is something that I want to pursue. And I am pretty good at it because I've been doing it for so many years. Or I have, मेरे professional development में मैंने ये किया है. And therefore, I think this is something that I would like to do. So your CV has to be at the crux of it. Am I making sense? Yes. All right, good. तो ये दो क्वेश्चन के आंसर्स तो आप पहले ही रेडी करके चले जाना because ये 100% पूछते ही है. Next one. This is something that I just said, demonstrate your skills through concrete examples. If they ask you what are your, pros, what are your plus points, then we give all these amazing answers. I'm a team leader. कभी काम नहीं किया होता टीम के साथ, but then we say I'm a team leader, I'm a group worker, then I'm honest, जो तुम हो नहीं, right? And all these बड़े answers. The point is, rather than just giving such points in in the air, it makes a better impression if you again go back to your CV and say, when I was in college, I was a part of the NSS, and from there I have learned these skills, and they, I believe, have become my plus points. Am I making sense again?
Yes.
Yeah. So go back to your CV. So your CV is at the core of everything. अगर तुम्हारा CV strong है, you can build up your interview very, very well. And then the last one is your body language and the way you present yourself. That matters a lot. I'm going to come back to this point towards the end of this session because I think it's very, very important. We'll spend some more time on it. But as of now, these are the things that you have to focus on while you face an interview. These are also the things that you have to focus on if you are applying. There are GDs, group discussions, or even at college, if you are, we have this career conclave at the end of every year, where more than 30 companies come to our college campus and they offer jobs, right? So maybe you will be facing an interview if you are a part of that conclave. These are the points that you have to remember. Now, not just in interviews, but any kind of formal communication also has some rules, also has some etiquettes that you have to follow. The first one, a very, very important one, comes from personal experiences. If you are trying to contact your boss or your college professor or any of these people or your client for that matter, the first thing you do is you either message them or you email them and ask for the correct time you can call them. You can't like रात को 10 बजे pick up your phone and call any of your professors. BA information. You can't do that, right? Ideally, professional communication hours are between 10 and 5. Not before 10 a.m., not after 5 p.m. So have that kind of consciousness that you understand the person is only working between 10 and 5 and try to contact them then. And you directly call them if you are on good terms with them. Alright? अगर पहली बार कॉल कर रहे हो तो पहले मैसेज करो या ईमेल करो, अपॉइंटमेंट लो कि an appointment मतलब you don't have to write a long letter. You just say I am blah 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 and I would like to speak to you about this. Then would be a good time to call you. That's it. 3 sentences, but take an appointment. It gives a very good impression about you. And it's also courtesy, right? It's a professional courtesy. That person might be in the middle of a meeting or might be busy with something else. So it's always better to message them in advance. Second one, very, very interesting. We love to talk. Remember, right at the beginning, I said we absolutely love to talk. But you have, when it comes to, especially formal communication, it could be a classroom, it could be a meeting, it could be, a group discussion or anything. Listen. First, you listen. Let the person complete what they are trying to say, and then you start talking. Unko beech mein rok ke you don't start talking ever. Hi. Okay. Again, this applies even more so in spoken communication. Keep your language very, very clean. All right. You can't say things like "what's up, bro" and use the F word or any of these other very colorful, linguistic usages when it comes to formal spoken communication. Next is please think before you speak. We have a habit of if somebody asks us something, फटाक से answer देने की आदत है, right? So पहले take some time, think what you really want to say, and then respond. It's okay. सामने वाला will not think that you are, slow or like तुम थोड़ा loose screw ho. They will not. They'll actually prefer that you've thought your answer and then you have projected it forwards. This again would be very important when you are in a group. Again, if you are in a classroom or in a meeting or anything, if you want to contribute, you don't just like randomly, say it in between. You raise your hand, and whoever is in charge will give you a chance to speak. These are good manners. These are etiquettes that you have to follow. Like right now, like if it were one of the classes that you are in, then if you have a doubt, if you have a question, if you want to add something to what the person in the front is saying, you raise your hand. All right. Next, again, please keep it short. Whatever you say has to be short. I'm sure you've had that one professor usko aap agar question पूछो इतना गोल घुमा के answers देते that you forget what the original question was. Did you have teachers like this ever? No names. This is being video recorded. Okay. Yeah. All right. The point is, we've all had professors, or we know people in our life, like even in our family, जिनसे आप question पूछने को डरते हैं because you think ये बंद नहीं होंगे, right? They'll not zip up. So you do not want to be that person. Yeah. So always keep your points very short and keep it to the point. obviously be very polite and be very, very courteous, which means what? There are 5 words in English language. We call them the golden words. They say if you use these golden words in your day-to-day communication, you can get through life with must. All right. So I'm sure you know these words. Thank you. Sorry. Please excuse me and welcome. Right? Yeah. Say sorry. It's okay. I mean, not now, but using sorry or at least thank you. You can thank everyone. Then third one was excuse me. When do we use excuse me? Sorry. All right, when you're approaching, when you want to disturb someone, you say, excuse me. All right. Now, disturb matlab unka class disrupt kar do, aise nahi bol rahi hu. But let's say, for example, you want to pass, there's somebody standing outside the door and they're blocking the way, you say, excuse me. All right. Or if somebody is saying something to the second person, you want to speak to the second person, you say, excuse me. Wherever you want to interrupt or wherever you want to disturb someone, you say, excuse me. By the way, since we are on the topic, I've seen this. A lot of people, when they sneeze, cheek aati hai, we say sorry. Why should you be sorry? It's not in your control. You say, excuse me. All right. Because then maybe you scared the people around you. Maybe they were disturbed a little. So say, excuse me, don't say sorry because it's not something that is in your control. If you give them COVID after it, then you say sorry. All right. And the last one is, I think, a very crucial one and something that we should work on, your tone and your voice modulation. There are some people that I know who are very amazing at their heart. Okay, they're very sweet, they're nice people, but when they speak, you feel like, please stop talking. Your voice is like too loud or too sharp and all of it. Like, and then there would be those kind of people जो बहुत प्यार से भी बात करे, but ऐसे लगता है कि ये चिल्ला रहे हैं हम पे. Yeah, that's you. The point is, it's okay. So far, if you have, or if you think you are that, so far you've come in your life unscratched, right? But now, when you enter the professional world, you have to learn to modulate your voice. You have to learn to watch the tone of your voice. Making sense? Yes. Are we good? Yes. Do you think this is useful? Yes. Thank you. And kind of. Okay, we'll see. You meet me 2 years after and then you tell me whether this was useful or not. We come to the last part now. That is your body language. Remember I said whenever you communicate, we communicate in 3 ways. One is through written communication, second is spoken, and third is your body language. All right. So let's talk about that. The first one obviously is your facial expressions. Our face says everything. Even the things that you don't actually say, your face says it all. Like you might be saying this to someone, you are a very nice person, but tumhare face pe dikhta hai that you hate that person, right? So the point is, especially in the professional arena, you have to control the facial expressions. The stress you take or your anger or your frustration shows on your face, and you have like, you don't pay so much attention to it, right? Or like when you yawn in class, it is your facial expression, right? Now, if you are, class mein to jaane do, but if you are, let's say, at a job and it's your first week there and there's a meeting with the CEO, you start yawning in the meeting, what happens to you? Tumhara probation bhi nahi khatam hota hai. Yeah, it gives such a bad impression, right? So control, it always works in your favor if you have a smiling face. All right, like even if you're going by the corridor, you see somebody who you know, why give them like khunnas kyu dena hai? Like give a small smile. It works in your favor. All right. So, so control, or rather than control, I would say pay attention to your facial expressions. They say a lot and they mean a lot. Okay. Okay. Next one. Whenever we communicate, you should always be careful, especially when you're giving a presentation or you're giving a viva or you are taking an interview, conducting an interview, everything. Whenever you are communicating with anyone, this applies not just to professional, but also your informal communication. Always maintain eye contact. All right. And when I say eye contact, I do not mean like just stare at one person continuously so that they get very, very uncomfortable. All right. Don't do that. But at least look at the people that you are talking to. You know, when I was in college, I had this one teacher, and this is actually true. All right. So we would be sitting like how you are, right in front of me, and our class used to have a window. All right. I'm not kidding. He would just look out of the window and teach the entire class. पहले तो हमें समझ नहीं आता. The first couple of days we used to like something interesting happening outside, and that's what's distracting him. But you can't have that, right? You have to maintain the eye contact with your communicator, with whoever you are communicating. Now, why do you think it's important to maintain eye contact?
The person, it looks like you're actually interested.
Very good. It shows that you are actually interested in speaking to that person. And that you are confident. Absolutely. Bang on. I think somebody here said something. Right? Okay. I imagine. But you guys are absolutely correct. Like when I look at you when I'm speaking, it shows that I am interested in speaking to you. I'm not. But just kidding. But at least you have to give that perception. And like you very rightly said, it shows that you are confident. Generally, when we are very fidgety and we are feeling very nervous, hum aankhein nahi milate, right? So when you maintain the eye contact and control your eyebrow movements, it shows that you exude confidence. Very, very good. Next one, body posture. Very, very crucial. The way you stand makes a lot of difference. Never stand on one and a half leg like this. I know we have a habit. This is a bad space to show it, but never stand on one leg bent at the knee and the other one and then do this. You can't do it at home, but never in the professional arena. Please don't do it in college either. Also, your posture, your shoulders matter, right? Pull them back, stand and sit straight always. Never slouch, because when you're slouching, whether it be a meeting or anything, it shows that you are not interested. It gives off the impression that you're not really interested in what is happening. So always have your back straight, shoulders pulled back, and maintain eye contact. Okay, hand gestures make a lot of difference, right? I personally have a habit of using my hands a lot. Like I talk with my hands. And the point is, when I use my hand gestures, it helps to underline the points that I am making, right? It adds to it. Rather than just standing like this for 1 hour and jabbering on, it makes I think that it gives off a better impression that I use my hands as well. You can use your hands when you want to underline something, when you want to focus on something, when you want to point at something, rather than saying, Acha, can you see the third point? Rather than just doing that, I can point it with my hand. So use your hand gestures carefully and they help you to put your points forth easily. And the last one, your clothing and your presentation. Presentation does not mean a PowerPoint presentation. It means the way you present yourself. All right. In your day-to-day life, it's fine. All right. I know that you are, or rather, let's say, we are the generation that believes the way we dress is a personal choice. Right. That only is true in the informal sector. When you go into the formal or your professional arena, it's no longer your choice. All right, you have to live by the rules that are laid by that company, especially at a workplace, because salary wahan se aati hai, right? It's your paid pani. Okay. The point is, when let's say you have to go for an interview, how would you dress? Achha, like formal is a very vague term, but absolutely you are correct. Let's start from the top. All right, how should your hair be? Okay, it could be short, it could be long, but it should not be like too garish, right? If you have short hair, ensure that they are combed properly. Like any other day, have tumko jo hairstyle chahiye wo. But when you're going for an interview, if you are a woman or if you have long hair, preferably it should be tied up into a bun or. If you are a guy, ensure that you trim them before the interview, right? Trim them and also trim, if you carry a beard, trim the beard or go clean shaven if you want. All right, it's up to you. But here, and then by the way, professional arena, unfortunately, even today, does not look upon tattoos and piercings. All right. So if you have any piercings, before you go for an interview or anything that you're doing professionally, take it off. For that one day, please take it off. Okay. And if you have tattoos or if you plan to get a tattoo, I can't say like please don't get tattoos. At least get it, somewhere where you can cover it up if you have to go for an interview or like for anything that is professional. Okay. Let's come to your the clothing. You guys said that you have to be dressed professionally. For men, I think it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. You can't be wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Unfortunate, but true, right? It has to be a formal shirt. Like even a formal shirt that does not have like lal color ke flowers on it or any of those garish colors. All right, it can't be a Hawaii shirt. It has to be something that is subtle, something that has simple colors like white, yes, absolutely. White, black, yellow भी एकदम आँख में चुभेगा ऐसा yellow नहीं. Any of the lighter shades, those pastel shades work better. All right. Or maybe a simple pinstripe or checks shirt would also go. It has to be tucked in. All right. You can't have a tucked out shirt. There used to be a time, like some 10 years ago, when you were supposed to wear ties to an interview, right? Now that's also outdated. You don't wear ties anymore. Just a collared shirt. Collared shirt, jiske sare buttons band. All right. Don't show off your physique at an interview, all right, or anywhere in a professional arena. Okay, so that's your shirt. Also, they should be clean and neatly pressed. Okay, that's very, very important. Again, gives off a good impression. And trousers. You can't be dressed in ripped jeans or you can't be dressed in track pants. It has to be a formal pant. And the shoes, formal shoes, not red in color, not blue in color, definitely not yellow, preferably tan, like brown or black. Also, please wear socks. Okay. Okay, let's come to the women. Now, this one is a difficult ball game, right? What is formal for us? Just a kurta, unfortunately, is not formal. The easiest way is a Punjabi suit. All right, that is formal, or a sari is formal. Okay, or you can dress in western formals like a shirt and a trouser. That also works. Okay, but you can't just like wear a short kurti with ripped jeans and go. Definitely not shorts. Definitely not spaghetti tops. None of these. Okay. When you go for an interview, if you are wearing kurtis and leggings, make sure you carry a stole or a dupatta. All right. So that turns it into a formal because kurti leggings are again very, very informal. Again, you can't wear t-shirts. You can't wear t-shirt. Even if you're wearing a top or a shirt, it has to be those light colors, right? Like with the men, our shirts also have to be those light pastel colors. You can't have something that is bright blue and wear it to an interview. Something that is subtle. सबसे safe है either a sari, but if you find it very difficult to carry, don't go for it. Go for a simple Punjabi suit. Okay, that's always your safe option. Or comfortable, go with a shirt and a trouser. These are the clothing. By the way, especially with women, no dress movement. I love to play with our nail art. Somebody's playing something in the background. Hi, somebody online is unmute and we can hear everything in the background. I think your TV is mute. Please mute yourself. Okay, anyways, coming back to the point. Oh yeah, clothing, right? Okay. And then obviously, I think we've talked about the dressing. Even your shoes have to be something that you are comfortable in. Comfortable मतलब Paragon की चप्पल नहीं पहन के जाना. All right? Wear something that is formal like flats or something. I mean, if you're comfortable in heels, go for it. But if you're not, just for the sake of interview, don't go because you fall on your face. And then all your attention will be there. I know, there are these amazing people. I can even a lot of people say, so either hai, your talent is what matters, how you dress and everything, that does not matter. Like, it does matter. When it stops mattering when you've reached one position where you've achieved something where people know that, okay, ye aapka talent hai, this is what you do. Then it does not matter what kind of clothes you wear or how you present yourself. Like the day you become Mark Zuckerberg or the day you become, Narayan Murthy, you can wear whatever you want, right? But right now, when we are starting, we have to give off that good impression that yes, investing in me is a good idea. And for that, unfortunately, you have to dress well, all right? You have to present yourself well. And obviously, please do. I don't think I should have to say this, but then we live in a country that has so many cultures and religions and everything, right? So respect them. The answers that you give, or like the perceptions that you put forth in your vivas, in your interviews, or anywhere, you have to respect these cultures and the different religions. Okay, be very careful about that. Now, last point. Yeah, this is my last slide. Okay. Warren Buffett is one of the top 10 richest people in the world. He started from nothing. His father was a woodcutter, all right? But then he went on to start this company, Hathaway. It's a IT company, right? And yes, and then he is now, I think, the 5th most richest person in the entire world with a net worth of $130 million or something. Billion. Yeah, thank you. Okay, and he put this up on his Twitter account a little while ago where he says, if you can't communicate, it's like winking at a girl in the dark. Nothing happens. Right? You can have all the brain power in the world, but you have to be able to transmit it. And how do you transmit it? The transmission is communication. All right. So I think these words literally compress and compile everything that I've tried to put forth before you so far. Okay. Focus on your written communication, spoken communication, especially your body language, and then everything else turns into gold. Okay. Thank you so much. Any questions? I'll be happy to answer them. No? Cool. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Nice, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Yes, you have to prepare your CV.
CV on next week. Let's see.
Class.
I'll post.
But I want roll numbers and names of the students.
आजकल नहीं
नहीं तो
करते।
पूरी FIBSC क्लास को आगे के सारे students के level में that doesn't matter for me. पूरी class के parents
Excuse me, ma'am, I have a question.
Some companies have their own personal ये
So how can we know that?
Sir, you were talking
लेके जाना साथ में। You carry it with
Okay,
you.
और अपने कल को देखना कि वहाँ इंटरव्यू दे रहे हैं तो
हाँ, yeah, लगा
कल
देना।
उसका
और यहाँ
schedule
पे
release
और
होगा।
there would always be that चाचा जो चाय देते हैं
meeting
या
के बाद
और
नहीं, हम लोग हमारी 12:30 को अलग से meeting है।
speak to them and ask
तो
them
after
like
that
yes.
release
Or like if you're going for an interview, you can see other employees there as well. But बहुत rarely होता है, like especially international लोग इसमें जाओ तो आजकल नहीं पहनते। Bye, welcome.
Ma'am, I have a question.
पहनते हैं, yes.
Okay, thank you everyone.
तुम्हारे